Well, good afternoon and welcome back. It's Cassandra Good Kitchen here with you, and we are here at the Paralegal Hangout. And we're glad that you could join us today. If you have been following the other sightings from those 6-volume paralegal help guides of mine, um, last time we discussed the correlation between contract law, criminal law, and tort law. And we broke down several key terms and, of course, their definition. Today, we will also give you an example of how uh, the Constitution and criminal law correlate together. As I said many times as a paralegal, it is very hard to break down certain aspects of law. It is so important to be under the instructions of a licensed attorney when you are preparing your case for a client. You want to make sure that you're absolutely certain that you understand what you are bringing to the court for them to decide upon for your client. The case you're bringing forth must be exactly what you're seeking from the court. So with that being said, today we're going to break down the correlation between constitutional and criminal procedures. Again, it is very hard to separate our laws. They go hand in hand. Now, the rights under the 4th, 5th, 6th, and the 8th Amendment is what we're going to speak of today. And for those who are joining us today, this particular show is for students on their journey as becoming paralegals. The 6-volume Paralegal Help Guide is there. Different topics. Every subject has its own volume, and it is there for additional note taking on the subject topic. Now, with that being said, the rights under the 4th Amendment, which is part of the Bill of Rights in the U.S. Constitution, reads, "The right of a people to be secured in their homes, papers, effects against unreasonable search and seizures. They shall not be violated. No warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and whenever any evidence is seized by a police, it must be done accordingly to certain rules and procedures." Now, you will find that information in the Paralegal Guide, Constitutional Law, Volume 2. We won't elaborate on a lot of these terms and definitions. However, as a paralegal, your instructors, professors will go over this very important information. So, again, whenever evidence is seized by a police, it must be done accordingly to certain rules and procedures. Now, under the rights under the 5th Amendment, is basically no person shall be subject for the same offense twice, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process. Now, if you've been following the readings, you will know that due process will be, again, under Volume 2, Paralegal Help Guide and Constitutional Law. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Very important to remember. An essential provision of the 5th Amendment is pretty much self-incriminating. you don't want to ever be in a position where you have to, or you shouldn't be self-incriminating yourself against a crime. Again, criminal law, we break that down in volume 3 of the Paralegal Help Guides. You cannot be compelled to be a witness against yourself. That's basically it. There is a double jeopardy clause there. Now, that's very important because in the Fifth Amendment, if you're convicted in state court, you could be subject to prosecution in a federal court. Was the victim's rights violated? And when we speak of those rights, of course, as a paralegal, we are talking about civil rights. So again, that special clause is there, that double jeopardy. And again, under the instructions of a licensed attorney, you would know exactly how to prepare your client for court. Now, criminal law, we spoke of substantive due process, and we did speak of procedural due process. We broke down and defined all of those terms in criminal law. Well, remember, when in substantive due process, it speaks of liberty and property. There is also procedural due process. And you're wondering, well, what's that? Well, it ensures that you have a fair and an impartial jury, basically. And, of course, to have an attorney appointed if you are indigent or cannot afford to pay. That is the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution. That's the basics. The Sixth Amendment, well, that basically is saying that you are entitled to a speedy and a public trial. So again, we won't elaborate a lot into this because it is for students on their journey as becoming paralegals. These help guides are there to jot down important notes that you want to have readily available, that you may need to refresh yourself with when it comes to the Constitution. Now, the rights under the Eighth Amendment, well, that's basically cruel and unusual punishment, with the court following the standards. Now, note, state courts can differ as to what constitutes cruel and unusual punishment under its own constitution. So again, you want to make sure when you are preparing your client for a federal case that you absolutely know exactly what you're trying to bring to the court, what your client is seeking. Now, in the Paralegal Help Guide, Volume 2, Constitutional Law, we talked about principles that could be changed by the Supreme Court or by the constitutional amendments. They do change. So again, you want to be sure that you know exactly where you're headed. Now, the greatest number of justices sign the plenary opinion not provided by statements of the law. So you have to make sure that understanding the brief of an opinion, you want to be clear on that. As a paralegal, you may be asking the court opinion for an attorney. If you have been, working with your attorney and you're trying to understand the brief of an opinion. Well, you've got to know the history of the case. And again, We broke down all of this in previous recordings here, and we do invite you to visit Amazon.com. You will find those 6-volume paralegal help guides right there, and they are available for students to jot down those important notes on the subject topic. Well, once again, thanks for tuning in. It's Cassandra Good Kitchen here with you. Just a few helpful tips for the students on their journey as becoming paralegals. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to tune in next Thursday, 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We'll be bringing some more tips for those students on their journey as becoming paralegals. Best of luck to all.